The first season of the fantasy drama television series Game of Thrones premiered on HBO on April 17, 2011, and concluded on June 19, 2011, airing on Sunday at 9 p.m. in the United States. It consisted of 10 episodes, each running approximately 55 minutes in length. Game of Thrones is based on the novel A Game of Thrones, the first entry in A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. R. Martin. The story takes place in a fictional world, primarily upon a continent called Westeros. The noble House Stark, led by Lord Eddard Ned Stark, is drawn into schemes against King Robert Baratheon when the hand of the King Jon Arryn dies mysteriously. Plot: the cable television series closely follows the multiple storylines of the A Song of Ice and Fire novel series, whose author, George R. R. Martin, said that the show's pilot script was very faithful to his work. The series begins with Ned Stark being asked to be the chief advisor to King Robert Baratheon. Ned and his wife Catelyn receive a letter from Catelyn's sister, Lizard, that gives them reason to believe that rival House Lannister, to which the king's wife Cersei belongs, was the cause of the previous hand's death. Ned must travel south to help the king and find out who killed the previous hand of the king, Jon Arryn, while trying to protect his family from the Lannisters. As he tries to uncover the reasons behind Jon Arryn's death, he uncovers the dark secrets about the Lannisters that Arryn himself died trying to expose. Meanwhile, across the narrow sea in the continent of Essos, the exiled, arrogant Viserys Targaryen, son of the former king whose throne was usurped, believes he still has the rightful claim to the throne. He marries off his younger sister, Daenerys Targaryen, whom he has psychologically and physically abused for years, to the leader of the Dothraki warrior tribe, Khal Drogo, in an exchange for an army to return to Westeros and take the throne. However, Daenerys' growing love for Drogo and newfound mental strength as the Khaleesi of the tribe mean Viserys' plans go unexpectedly and powerfully awry. And beyond the war, Ned's bastard son Jon Snow joins the Night's Watch, an ancient brotherhood sworn to watch over the massive wall that separates the Seven Kingdoms from the dangerous unknown beyond. But an ancient force, long believed dead, threatens the land. Production: David Benioff and D.B. Weiss serve as main writers and showrunners for the first season. They contributed 8 out of 10 episodes, including co-writing 1 episode with Jane Espenson. The 2 remaining episodes were written by Brian Cogman and A Song of Ice and Fire author George R. R. Martin. Tom McCarthy directed the original pilot, but much of this was later reshot by Tim Van Patten, who also directed the second episode. However, McCarthy is still credited as a consulting producer for the pilot. Brian Kirk and Daniel Minarin directed 3 episodes each, and Alan Taylor directed the final 2. Before Game of Thrones, both Benioff and Weiss worked in film, and were unfamiliar with working on a television show. This resulted in several first-season episodes being about 10 minutes too short for HBO, forcing them to write another 100 pages of scripts in 2 weeks. Due to lack of budget, the new scenes were designed to be inexpensive to film, such as 2 actors conversing in one room. Benioff and Weiss noted that some of their favorite scenes from the first season were the results of the dilemma, including one between Robert and Cersei Baratheon discussing their marriage. Casting: on May 5, 2009, it was announced that Peter Dinklage had been signed on to star as Tyrion Lannister in the pilot, and that Tom McCarthy was set to direct. On July 19, 2009, a number of further casting decisions were announced, including Sean Bean being given the role of Ned Stark, thus confirming a rumor first reported a couple of days before. Other actors signed on for the pilot were Kit Harington in the role of Jon Snow, Jack Gleeson as Joffrey Baratheon, Harry Lloyd as Viserys Targaryen, and Mark Addy as Robert Baratheon. In the beginning of August 2009, it was revealed that Catelyn Stark would be portrayed by Jennifer Ale. On August 20, more casting announcements were made, including Nicolaj Coster-Waldau as Jaime Lannister and Tamsin Merchant as Daenerys Targaryen, as well as Richard Madden in the role of Robb Stark, Ian Glenn as Ser Jorah Mormont, Alfie Allen as Theon Greyjoy, and Sophie Turner as Sansa Stark and Maisie Williams as Arya Stark. On September 1, Lena Headey was announced as Cersei Lannister. On September 23, Martin confirmed that Rory McCann had been cast as Sandra Clegane. Isaac Hempstead Wright was confirmed as Bran Stark on October 14, followed by an announcement of Jason Momoa as Khal Drogo 3 days later. After the pilot was shot and the series picked up, it was announced that the role of Catelyn had been recast, with Michelle Fairley replacing Aelle. Later, it was also confirmed that Emilia Clarke would replace Tamsin Merchant as Daenerys. The rest of the cast was filled out in the second half of the year, and included Charles Dance as Tywin Lannister, Aidan Gillen as Peter Littlefinger Baelish, and Conleth Hill as Varys. Filming: most scenes were shot in Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland border counties. Principal photography was scheduled to begin on July 26, 2010, with the primary locations being the Paint Hall studio in the Titanic Quarter of Belfast, Northern Ireland. Among other exterior locations, Castle Ward and Down Castle in central Scotland served as the backdrop for Winterfell. For the initial shooting of the pilot in 2009, additional filming locations included Cairncastle, Shane's Castle, Castle Ward, Maghera Quarry, and Tullamore Forest Park, all in Northern Ireland. The show's presence in Northern Ireland and use of Paint Hall created hundreds of jobs for residents, and made the area a hub for film and television production. The King's Landing exterior scenes were shot at various locations in Malta, including the city of Mdina and the island of Gozo. The filming in Malta resulted in controversy when a protected ecosystem was damaged by a subcontractor. Cast: Main cast, starring Sean Bean as Lord Eddard Ned Stark, Mark Addy as King Robert Baratheon, Nicolaj Coster-Waldau as Ser Jaime Lannister, Michelle Fairley as Lady Catelyn Stark, Lena Headey as Queen Cersei Lannister, Emilia Clarke as Princess Daenerys Targaryen, Ian Glenn as Ser Jorah Mormont, Aidan Gillen as Lord Peter Littlefinger Baelish, Harry Lloyd as Prince Viserys Targaryen, Kit Harington as Jon Snow, Sophie Turner as Sansa Stark, Maisie Williams as Arya Stark, Richard Madden as Robb Stark, Alfie Allen as Theon Greyjoy, Isaac Hempstead Wright as Brandon Bran Stark, Jack Gleeson as Prince Joffrey Baratheon, Rory McCann as Sandor the Hound Clegane, Peter Dinklage as Tyrion Lannister, also starring Jason Momoa as Khal Drogo. Guest cast: the guest cast is listed in order of rank or social importance by the region of Westeros in which they appear. At the Wall: James Cosmo as Lord Commander Mormont, Peter Vaughan as Maester Aemon, Brian Fortune as Othel Yarrick, Joseph Maul as Benjen Stark, Francis McGee as Yoren, Owen Teale as Sarah Liza Thorne, John Bradley as Samwell Tarly, Jose Fulton as Piper, Mark Stanley as Green, Luke Masawan as Rast, Bronson Webb as Will. In the North, Art Parkinson as Rickon Stark, Clive Mantle as Lord John Greatjon Umber, Stephen Blunt as Lord Rickard Karstark, Donald Sumpter as Maester Luwin, Ron Donacci as Ser Roderick Castle, Jamie Sives as Jory Castle, Susan Brown as Septa Mordane, Margaret John as Old Nan, Christian Nairn as Hodor, Natalia Tennant as Osha. In the South, Charles Dance as Lord Tywin Lannister, Lino Faccioli as Lord Robin Arryn, David Bradley as Lord Walder Frey, Kate Dickie as Lady Lysa Arryn, Finn Jones as Ser Loras Tyrell, Ian Gelder as Ser Cvan Lannister, Conan Stevens as Ser Gregor Clegane, Jerome Flynn as Bronn, Sibel Kekili as She. At King's Landing, Callum Harry as Prince Tommen Baratheon, Amy Richardson as Princess Myrcella Baratheon, Gethin Anthony as Lord Renny Baratheon, Julian Glover as Grand Maester Pycelle, Conleth Hill as Lord Varys, Ian Mailhenney as Ser Barristan Selmy, Ian Beattie as Ser Meryn Trant, Wico Johnson as Ser Ilanpain, Dominic Cutter as Janos Slynt, Eugene Simon as Lancel Lannister, Miltos Yerolima as Syrio Forel, Joe Dempsey as Gendry, Esma Copyright Bianco as Roz, Eros Vlahos as Lomi Green Hands, Ben Hawkey as Hot Pie, David Scott as Beric Dondarrion, Across the Narrow Sea, Roger Allam as Magister Illyrio Mopatis, Das Allam as Kotu, Elis Gabel as Ragharo, Amrita Akara as Ari, Roxanne McKee as Duray, Mia Soteria as Miri Mazdu. Episodes. Reception, critical response, anticipation for the series was described by various media outlets as very high, with a dedicated fan base closely following the show's development. By April 2011, Multiple entertainment news outlets had put it at the top of their lists of television events to look forward to in 2011. The majority of reviews for the first season were very positive, with critics noting the high production values, the well-realized world, compelling characters, and giving particular note to the strength of the child actors. Tim Goodman's review for The Hollywood Reporter stated, "A few minutes into HBO's epic Game of Thrones series, it's clear that the hype was right and the wait was worth it." Mary McNamara from the Los Angeles Times called it a great and thundering series of political and psychological intrigue bristling with vivid characters, cross-hatched with tantalizing plotlines and seasoned with a splash of fantasy. New York Post's Linda Stasi gave Thrones 3.5/4 stars stating, "The art direction, acting and incredible sets are as breathtaking as the massive scope of the series." Many critics praised Peter Dinklage for his portrayal of Tyrion Lannister, with Ken Tucker from Entertainment Weekly stating, "If Dinklage doesn't get an Emmy for his clever, rude Tyrion Lannister, I'll be gobsmacked," and Mary McNamara from the Los Angeles Times stating, "If the man doesn't win an Emmy, heads should certainly roll." The first season of Game of Thrones has a Metacritic average of 79 out of 100 based on 28 critic reviews, categorized as generally favorable. Ratings: the first episode attracted 2.2 million viewers its initial airing on April 17 in the U.S., and totaled 5.4 million viewers across multiple Sunday and Monday night airings. It averaged 743,000 and reached a peak 823,000 in UK and Ireland on its April 18 premiere. HBO announced that they would be commissioning a second season on the strength of the reception of the premiere episode. By the final episode of the season, which aired June 20, the ratings had climbed to over 3 million. The season's overall Nielsen ratings were, awards and nominations. The first season of Game of Thrones was nominated for 13 Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Drama Series, Outstanding Directing for a Drama Series, and Outstanding Writing for a Drama Series. It won 2, Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series and Outstanding Main Title Design. Dinklage, who plays Tyrion, was also named Best Supporting Actor by the Golden Globes, the Scream Awards and the Satellite Awards. Broadcast: Game of Thrones premiered on HBO in the United States and Canada on April 17, 2011, and on Sky Atlantic in the United Kingdom and Ireland on April 18, 2011. The series premiered in Australia on Showcase on July 17, 2011. It premiered in Brazil on May 8, 2011, on the local HBO channel. DVD and Blu-ray release: the 10 episodes of the first season of Game of Thrones was released on DVD and Blu-ray disc on March 6, 2012. The set includes extra background and behind-the-scenes material, but no deleted scenes, because almost all footage shot for the first season was used in the show. The specifications for the Blu-ray box set to be released in Europe are: runtime, circa 600 minutes, 1080p high-definition video, 16:9 aspect ratio, 5.1 surround sound in English, French, Spanish, stereophonic sound in Polish. Subtitles in English, French, Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, Polish, Dutch, Danish, Finnish, Norwegian, and Swedish. The box set's extra features are the following: making Game of Thrones a 30-minute feature including new footage from the set and interviews. Creating the Show Open portrays the creation of the opening title sequence. From the book to the screen interviews with Benioff, Weiss, and Martin about the adaptation process. Character profiles: 15 principal characters described by their actors. The Night unregistered trademark S-Watch, an examination of the warrior order that Jon Snow joins. Creating the Dothraki language covers the creation of the Dothraki language. 7 audio commentaries by, among others, Benioff, Weiss, Martin, Clark, Dinklage and Harrington. The features exclusive to the Blu-ray release are: Complete Guide to Westeros, an interactive compendium of the noble houses and lands featured in Season 1, and 24 histories of the Seven Kingdoms as told by the series' characters. Anatomy of an Episode, a detailed feature about the production of Episode 6, A Golden Crown. In-episode guide provides background information about characters, locations, and histories while each episode plays. Hidden Dragon Eggs, Easter Eggs. HBO released a collector's edition DVD Blu-ray combo pack of the first season, which includes a resin-carved dragon egg paperweight. The set was released in the United States and Canada on November 20, 2012. Music. The first season's soundtrack by Ramin Djawadi, written within about 10 weeks of the show's premiere, was released in June 2011. References. External links: Game of Thrones official US site, Game of Thrones official UK site, list of Game of Thrones episodes at the Internet Movie Database, list of Game of Thrones episodes at TV.com.